Ladies and gentlemen, this is the very brief lecture for European history for Monday, the 7th of September, 2021. People are returning their tests to the shelf. We have done the silly test, chapter survey 12 test, and the chapter survey 12s have been turned in alongside your signatures. I will point out that 20 years ago this weekend, I happened to be wearing this tie. I am a New Yorker. This tie has my favorite skyscraper on it. New Yorkers have favorite skyscrapers. The Empire State Building happens to be mine. But I remember architect Yamazaki's Twin Towers being built in my childhood in the late 1960s and early 1970s. I also remember something that you've never experienced. A United States in the mentality of peacetime. We had defeated the Soviets in the Cold War. And with the collapse of the Soviet Union, most Americans dreamed the dream of peace. Until 19 Islamic fundamentalists boarded American planes with box cutters, slashed the throats of several passengers as attention getters, moved the passengers to the back of the plane, moved the pilots to the back of the plane, and used American commercial aircraft as guided missiles. I've been in these towers. I had a friend who worked in them between the bombing of 1993 and about 6 months before September 2001. But as a New Yorker, I have seen what these were. With my ancient and medieval students, I'm going over 2 weeks of historical background as an overture to human history. Because once I knew it was Muslims, I knew why the attacks had happened. I learned that within 40 minutes of the attacks happening. So to keep myself sane, and to also explain what seemed inexplicable to most Americans, I told the story from the prophet Abraham, the world's first monotheist, all the way to the present day and the Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The reasons have to do with that long history. What you should understand is that the 20th anniversary, this coming weekend, changed the lives of everyone who was aware at that time. My life will never be the same. And I was in the state of Maine, 400 miles away. I was some distance away. But I had grown up in and around New York City. They were a part of my childhood. And they're gone. So we're 3,000 plus people. Each of these buildings was designed to house 10,000. Yamazaki's buildings were mostly empty when the attacks happened because of the nature of commuting into New York. The attacks happened before the buildings were at full capacity. Those attacks began a war that we're still engaged in. Some people are uncomfortable with that. Some people are quite comfortable. Most of our NATO allies fulfilled their treaty obligations after 9/11 and helped us in some, at least symbolic way, during the invasion of Afghanistan. I won't have to tell you when you have your own change of life. Please wait a second. But there will come a moment where something will happen, and everyone who's aware will remember where they were when it did. The destruction of the Twin Towers was such a day. I only wear this tie when I'm teaching this topic. And I wore it at the graduation of the day of the people that I was teaching the day it happened. Never forget. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.